Call the roll.
Mr. Griffin,
Present.
Dr. Matusik,
Here.
Mr. Simrod,
Here.
Mr. Lau,
Present.
Mrs. Charmison. Here.
Welcome all y'all. We will reserve comments on agenda items for when they do arise, and nobody signed up ahead of time to tell us how much they love us. So we will move on to the consent agenda, 3.1 through 3.6. Are there any of those items that need to be pulled out for further discussion?
I have no question.
Seeing none, I'll move to approve the consent agenda as posted.
Second.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes?
Dr. Matusik,
Yes.
Mr. Simrod,
Yes.
Mr. Lau,
Aye.
Mrs. Charmison. Yes.
Item 4.1 on regular business regards the 2025-2026 school calendar.
So preparing for the calendar, I'd sent just an original draft, which is one there, and that mirrors our current school year calendar. Sent that out to the entire staff, and they pick a couple representatives from each building, and then they come in, and we met the day that we reported for school last week on Monday, and had a short meeting. And the only suggestion is that we try to get our fall break, the current fall break we have is that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And it was brought up to make sure it's the same weekend as some of the other schools in the county. And of course, they base theirs primarily on the career tech. So I said, got what they were all doing, and they were actually doing it the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, same week, same weekend. So that's how I developed calendar option 2. Sent that out to a vote, and out of the 84 at the time that responded on the deadline, 57% voted for option 2. So based on staff's voting, I'm recommending that we go with option 2, which is a Thursday, Friday, Monday fall break. Everything else mirrors our current school year calendar.
So this year we had Wednesday off.
Wednesday,
and came
Thursday,
back
and
on
Friday.
Monday.
That is correct.
And we would be in class
Shifts it back, yeah.
through Monday, then return on Tuesday. Through Wednesday.
Yeah, we'd be in class on Wednesday and return on Tuesday.
I have to ask this question because a previous administration failed in this, but can you tell us that the spring break that is on this calendar,
The third
does that
week of
coincide with the Oklahoma universities and career tech's spring break?
I didn't check theirs. We're required to do the spring break for the third week of Wednesday.
Required to?
Yeah,
I thought
that's what the state
were.
law what says what's supposed to be in there.
Because
So that follows
within just a
whatever
few
goes.
years ago, it did not fall on the.
There was a
There was an
confusion
option.
on when that week was, yes.
Does that coincide with OIE? It used to, I just didn't know if OIE is.
It does, the very first part of OYE, if I'm correct. Is it the second part? Second part of OYE. OYE runs for basically 2 weeks, so it falls in there, yes. Because when we finish the state basketball tournament is when OYE usually starts moving in. And I think that's what their dates are this year.
I just know that we had failed some families because they had some of their children on spring break that were in
Hold the
university a different week than their.
Don't hold the faults to the predecessors against me.
I'm not, but I gotta ask the question every time. Since I didn't ask the question that year, I assume. And I will not assume anymore. Any questions regarding the school calendar?
I'll make the motion to approve option 2, the 2025-26 school calendar.
Second.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Dr. Matusik.
Yes.
Mr. Simrod.
Yes.
Mr. Lau,
Aye.
Mrs. Charmison. Yes.
Item 4.2 is a proposed executive session to discuss purchase of real property. I will move to enter into executive session, this being 7:08 p.m. Second.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Dr. Matusik,
Yes.
Mr. Simrod.
Yes.
Mr. Lau,
Yes.
Mrs. Charmison. Yes.
Acknowledge return to open session at 7:38. We entered executive session at 7:08. Only the items on the agenda were discussed. No votes were taken. All members were present, including Superintendent Sternberger and our guest Nathan Greenfield. Moving on to 4.3 regarding the action on the real property.
So regarding real property located at 519 East Kansas, I recommend to the board with a purchase price of, negotiated purchase price of $55,000, and the owner will take responsibility for the asbestos abatement prior to that. And then also within that recommended motion to you guys is authorizing superintendent to sign any paperwork between now and then that involves the closing of the house.
I might include that the abatement would include removal of all sheetrock and flue pipe.
Okay. Per asbestos report.
Yeah.
Yes.
Per asbestos.
Do we want to
report.
put a date that it needs to be done by?
I'm comfortable,
With him?
I'm comfortable with
You
that.
can negotiate
with the
that, just-
abatement
Okay.
And,
As early as possible.
and payment due upon completion of abatement.
Okay.
Right.
With those changes, so moved.
Second.
I guess you'll get that exactly the wording.
Yep.
Oh, now Timberly,
You don't
you
know-
got that.
You did
got
do
it.
that in shorthand?
I mean,
On
yeah.
your steno
Go
pad?
back and watch
Hey,
the
I'm
video.
ready to vote
Yeah,
yes.
Jack's got everything.
You've already divulged your vote?
All right,
So
Mr.
Well, no,
Griffin.
negotiated price of $55,000.
Yes. And the owner
Owner is
takes care of
responsible for
asbestos.
removal of all asbestos per inspection report. And superintendent is authorized to sign paperwork related to closing of house.
Okay. All right, Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Dr. Matusek,
Yes.
Mr. Simrod,
Yes.
Mr. Lau,
Aye.
Mrs. Charmison.
Yes.
Is there new business that we were not prepared for?
No new business
Thursday?
has come up.
Then your superintendent's report?
Resignations only, and I had two, Mitzi Trillo at the daycare and Rosa Garcia custodian.
Does that conclude your superintendent's
That
report?
does.
All right.
When you don't have a lot of projects to work on, it
Right.
slows down.
All right, we'll move on to 7.1, and that regards employment to fill one of those vacated positions.
I recommend to the board to employ Amber Beeman as daycare worker for the remainder of the 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Dr. Matusek.
Yes.
Mr. Simrod,
Yes.
Mr. Lau,
Aye.
Mrs. Charmison.
Yes.
I move to adjourn. Second.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Dr. Matusek.
Yes.
Mr. Simrod,
Yes.
Mr. Lau,
Aye.
Mrs. Charmison.
Yes.